Would be good, though, to take a look at the first reading out of Malachi. So let me ask you a couple questions here. Are you one of these people? I hope I'm not the only one. You are watching a sporting contest, say a football game. Your team is playing, and the opponents score a touchdown, and then you find out there was a penalty on the play, and they bring it back because your opponents cheated, and that's how they got the touchdown. That's kind of satisfying a little bit? Or what about this? You're driving down the highway and somebody comes whizzing by you way faster than they should go, even beyond the speed limit, and they are weaving in and out of traffic. And then a mile or two later, you see them off to the side of the road, and there's a police car. They've pulled them over. Does it not fill your heart with joy? You see, I just wonder if that sense, that kind of, oh yeah, you got what's coming to you, is part of this first reading for us. Lo, the day is coming, blazing like an oven, when all the proud and all evildoers will be stubble. And the day that is coming will set them on fire, leaving them neither root nor branch. It's the prophet Malachi. He's sort of saying, well, there's going to come a day when those who are evildoers, they will get their due, justice. That is the definition of justice. Justice is giving each person what they are due. So, for example, someone who is without food, that justice demands that they be given food, because that is what they are due. All human beings are due the right, the means by which to live. And so in this case, you say, well, yes, the person that's caught speeding, that's justice. They were speeding, they're driving badly. It makes sense that they should be pulled over. It makes sense that, in a sporting contest, if somebody holds somebody, preventing them from tackling the runner, makes sense that there'd be some penalty and the play be called back. But I guess my question is, well, would you feel any differently if you, say, the speeder, if you knew them? Say it wasn't someone driving crazy bad, but just you driving along the road and you see a car stopped by the side of the road and it's somebody you know, family member, friend. Do you feel differently about it? I mean, do you look at that and go, oh yeah, great, or do you look at that and go like, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, it's not that you don't want justice to be done. I mean, if they have done something wrong, then yeah, they've done something wrong. But maybe you're just feeling sad for them a little bit. Or maybe you might be hoping that, well, maybe what they did wasn't all that big a deal, and maybe the policeman will let them off with a warning. I mean, is that not what might be in us? And see, my question is, should we feel that way about everyone? In other words, I appreciate there is this need for justice. I get that. But I'm just wondering if we need to work against this idea of good, you got what you deserved. That sort of, censoriousness. You look down on somebody. Yes, you got what you deserved. I wonder if we need to fight against it. I wonder if we can feel sadness when perhaps justice is done and it's bad for the person. Because, I mean, isn't that what Jesus teaches us? Love your enemy. Well, it's kind of hard to love your enemy if you're gloating over the fact that they just got caught doing whatever. And Jesus says, rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. So going back to the sport thing, Kind of interesting that you would rejoice when your team does well, but could you perhaps feel bad, weep with those who weep, especially for maybe it's some mistake one particular player made and maybe you feel bad for them? Yeah, your team won, but maybe you feel bad for the poor player. This is how Jesus handles people like tax collectors. Tax collectors, if you remember in that day and age, they generally were not nice people. Many of them cheated to gain wealth. And so it makes sense that justice should be served. A tax collector reading Malachi might see themselves in that. But it is interesting that Jesus always seems to find a way to treat them with grace first. In other words, he sees them as a child of God, a person. Why else would he call Matthew? Matthew was a tax collector, collecting taxes at the moment that Jesus looks at him and says, "Why don't you come and follow me?" Jesus knows what he's doing isn't right, but somehow Jesus is inviting him into something better. Or the woman caught in adultery. If you remember that story, Jesus clearly tells this woman, "Oh, don't be doing this again." But before he tells her that, he offers her compassion and forgiveness. I just think that's where we need to go. It's just natural that the fact that we all laughed when that idea of seeing someone pulled over. I think that's just in us. It's probably part of our fallen nature. But I wonder if we just need to kind of work at that. And I can give you a place to start. I don't know if it would help you as much as it is helping me. I never root against field goal kickers. Ever. Even if the kicker is about to kick a winning field goal against a team I'm rooting for. Because I can just appreciate what that's like. You make a field goal like that, you're the hero, and that's an amazing thing, and you miss it, and the weight of that. And so as much as I really want them to miss, and if they do miss, I will be grateful. I will celebrate the fact that my team won, but in the midst of that, I'm going to remember that poor kicker who is going to feel so bad about what he'd done. And I'm trying to remember even the fans of that team and how disappointed they would be. Trying to rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. It's a bit of a silly place perhaps to start, but it's helping me. Maybe it would help you. Because, there is going to come a judgment day, as Malachi points out, and it'll be for all of us. But we really want to be in a position where we are hoping and praying, basically that hell would be empty. Not because there is no hell, but just because everyone somehow found their way, repented of what they were doing, found their way to God. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? And it's probably not actually going to happen, but we can hope for it and work for it. But certainly don't want to be in a position where we're gloating over someone's misfortune or someone's intentional choice. So let's look at people, let's look at one another, and let us see Jesus in them. Because certainly Jesus loves us, and he wants us to love others.